Good morning, Niagara. You're tuned into Car Connection, where the coffee's hot, tools are ready, the talk is always tuned up, and I'm your host, Niall Motormouth Jenkins, coming to you straight from the Car Connection workshop this morning, where we mix a little humor, a little know-how, and a whole lot of horsepower. Here, it's not just about fixing cars. It's about keeping you rolling, saving you money, giving you the confidence to understand what's under that hood. So from the classics to the commuters, the weird noises to the what the heck moments, we've got you covered. So grab your coffee, sit back, and join the crew, because this is Car Connection, your Monday through Saturday morning pit stop for stories, smarts, a few good laughs. And I'm Niall Motormouth Jenkins, and we are shifting into drive on this rainy Wednesday morning. Yes, it's hump day, and it is pouring cats, dogs, and hamsters this morning on the south shores of Lake Erie. Well, welcome aboard this morning. If you're just scooting through the drive-through, we'll have our swiggy together in just a few moments. So hang in there. Make sure it is middle of the week. People start to wind down, so double check your order and be respectful if they mess it up. Yeah, no throwing it back through the window or anything stupid like that. Just say, yo, take a look. Yeah, figure it out. Anyhow, lock it down in your cup holder and wake up your co-pilot if you've got one with you, and hand them the 16-pack of Crayola crayons and a freshly squeezed leaf bag. That's the Car Connection laptop. Works perfect every time. Yeah. Not a problem. No black screen of death there. Not a chance. Well, we've got so much to talk about, but a short time to get there. This morning's program I've entitled, The System is Stacked. Okay. Now what? We're going to jump into that in just a few moments. So hang in there. We have our daily weather report coming up. This morning, brought to you by Niagara Block at 5,000, Montrose Road in Niagara Falls, building Canada since 1931 with building supplies, metal, rebar, all those things, and bricks, or actually blocks. You know, the big stuff? Yeah, I have a little miniature one on my desk. It is so cute. It's a pencil pen holder, and it's a real block, but it's mini. It's a mini block. So I guess you could make a mini project out of that. It's going to take you a while because they're pretty teeny weeny. But if you need the big stuff and you want fancy blocks, they make every block known to mankind except Legos. I didn't ask about that. I will. Next time I see David Grimo, I'll say, are you guys making Legos yet? You know, like Niagara Block. Okay, never mind. If you're looking to create a hardscape, landscape, beautiful oasis, that place you call your backyard outdoor living space, they got you covered from start to finish. In fact, connect with David Grimo's wife, Kathy. She's in the front office, and if you're looking to get a contractor on it to get the job estimated and a start time and a finish time, and of course, when you're working outside, we know what? You're at the perils of the weather. That's right. You have no choice. And when we were building the studios here, we did order our rebar and all that stuff from Niagara Block. We had beautiful summer, dry to the bone, drier than dry. And then when we got our permit, the rain started. And it never stopped. It was gruesome. Incredible. So get on that right away. Get your hardscape landscaping materials all picked out. They have everything you'll need to beautify that backyard space that you've always wanted. So jump into it and get it organized and get it done. And you can do all that in one place at Niagara Block, 5,000 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, building Canada since 1931. Well, let's jump into our morning swiggy while it's still hot and fresh. All right. Are you ready? Can I hear somebody say I'm ready? I think I heard it. 3, 2-1. I think that's the hottest one I've had in 2 seasons here. Yeah, we're almost wrapping up season 2. Oh, that is so good. Man, I love that local honey. It's just absolutely earth-shattering. I'm telling you, earth-shattering. Well, our daily weather brought to us by our certified financial planning professionals, Tony Mielli and Larry Tetro, 50 years experience as fiduciaries. They are my personal financial planners and financial planners to some of my friends as well. And many of our former listeners also. They're with IG Wealth Management. And I just want to say this right from my heart is, if you are feeling crushed, discouraged, you're carrying a debt load, and you just can't seem to see a way out, book that hour and a coffee, that discovery meeting. Just get it done. Sit down and get all the issues off your chest. If you have an investment portfolio with the bank, you really need to let them have a look at that and get that moved so that it's making you money. The banks make enough disgusting money. That's all I can say. I'll leave it parked there. Their profitability, you can see it. It's public information. You look at it and you go, and they're charging me what? Bank fees? Are you kidding me? Yeah, exactly. So you need to get that portfolio out there. If you're carrying debt and you think there's no way out, again, the reason for the hour and a coffee, estate planning, you have kids, you have a checkbook, you have bank account, you have vehicles, you have stuff. That all needs to be planned for. If you have kids 18 years of age or older, are you their health proxy? This is not something, fellas, that you say, look what I did, honey. I went to, the Big W store and I got a will and power of attorney package for like $25-$30, but on the back page it says you should have an attorney check it all, because the government will have a field day with that. Absolutely. That's not something you take care of yourself. If you need a mortgage, their rates, I can tell you, I've been with them for quite a while now, over a decade. I'm not going back to the bank. First of all, the ladies out in the Winnipeg branch where the mortgage department is are amazing to work with, and the rates very, very comparable. So life insurance, critical illness insurance, all these things you need to sit down and talk about, even though it feels uncomfortable. So do that. So thank you to Tony and Larry for being amazing, humble, certified financial planners that can help us navigate through some of those tough, uncharted waters. And you need people in those areas of life, just like a mechanic, just like a doctor, a dentist. You need those peeps that they're watching out for you and that you can count on them. That's what you need. Because why? It relieves a lot of stress. I love getting a referral, going to someone and saying, so-and-so sent me. So now they know they got to be on their A+ game, and they usually are. And they say, so-and-so, and I go, yeah. They told me to come over here. And, you build a new relationship. Just like with the weather. I don't know if we can. So here it is. Look, don't shoot the messenger. I'm not the message. I'm just the messenger. Here's what we had yesterday. 0.85 of an inch. Call it a 1-inch deal of rain yesterday in the last 24. In the next 24, we're going to see like 0.15. It's presently raining here in the South Shores of Lake Erie. 46 degrees right now and raining. Wind is making it feel cooler. I've been out there. It's curb day today. Been to the Coib. Saw the ginormous skunk this morning too. He needs Jenny Craig. He's over the top. He's waddling. You got to do something about that. I said to him, buddy, you can live in the manhole there next to the driveway, but pretty soon you're either not going to get in or you're not coming out. Jenny Craig, buddy. Yeah, he can hardly walk. He's huge. It's about 44 degrees right now, whether you like it or not. Cloudy conditions expected around 11 a.m. And today's temperature range will be from 43 to 51. Grateful it's not snow. It's going to feel more like 41 to 51. So grab your Nelly. You're going to need it. Maybe hip waders. Not sure on that one, but it might, it's best to have the gear so you can put it on if you need it. But if you don't have it, you can't put it on. Makes sense to me. It's like sunscreen. If you wait till you're burnt and then you put it on, you probably should have put it on before you burnt, and now you're burnt and it's just not feeling good. That's me. I always forget. Anyhow, let's jump into our topic this morning. Thank you to the City Auto Sales and Leasing, our own Louise Grant, doing a great job out there in the Greater Toronto area, providing premier pre-owned automobiles, low mileage, quality vehicles at fair prices. Let me tell you, keep their phone buzzing and get out there and find yourself an older vehicle that you can love and care for and take care of it. And when I say older, you want to be somewhere around mid-2000s. Yeah. I mean, at the very high end of things, 2020. But if you want to push the envelope, go to 21. But for me, the buzzword right now, all across YouTube channels that I watch, that I count on to get reliable information, the buzzword is get something older that's in great shape, keep really good care of it, and keep it going with aftermarket parts, because you won't need to go to the dealer for the parts. And I can attest to that, very much so. There's certain things on certain vehicles that I will buy the genuine parts, especially on European cars. They don't like aftermarket parts. They will bite you when you try to put it on. But as for the other things, there's so many really good aftermarket parts right now where they correct faults with the factory parts in the aftermarket. Isn't that interesting? But the manufacturers that are building these things are building them with the same parts that are defective, but the aftermarket parts development make correction to their pattern failures and produce an aftermarket part with correction already made. So in other words, better than OEM, original equipment manufacturer. Is that the way it's supposed to be? Well, here's what I say. You know what? Live it. Learn it, fellas. People are waking up to the fact that there is planned obsolescence. And I'm not just saying it. I've been hearing it for weeks now, and it is accelerating across other platforms. People are figuring them out finally. Amen. They don't want the vehicle to last anymore. And this is words I have heard from people who have worked in the manufacturing. They don't want the vehicle to last beyond 60,000 kilometers. They want you to be just out. They want that thing to be a big pain in your backside. That it's constantly back to the dealer. It's constantly needing parts. It's constantly got a problem. Do you know why? I'm going to sell this to you right now. They want you to get fed up with it and abandon ship. You just go, oh, that's it. I'm just going to go get another one. So you're going to buy another piece of junk that you just suffered through. And guess what's happening in the next one? Because the system is stacked, folks. That's why I know how to play the car game. I've been seeing them, watching this since 1992 develop. And along with some of my tech buddies, and many of my tech buddies aren't even in the business anymore. They quit. They quit being a service tech, and that's happening all over North America right now. We have such a shortage of automotive service techs. It's going to be a tough next 5 years, I'll tell you that, getting your vehicle fixed. Just ask Ford Motor Company. They don't have any techs right now. Yeah, they're just a handful short. If you have a chance to Google that, Google it. Does Ford need automotive service techs? Yes. How many? Lots. They got vehicles sitting, and vehicles that'll be sitting for probably the next 6 to 12 months. People are making payments on. They have no technicians to fix them. There you go. That's the direction things are going. The automotive trade is dying, and kids are not wanting to get into it. They're, wanting to be able to text all day and play games and get paid for it. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but seems to be the norm from all the business owners I get to meet and greet and talk to. They say, do you know anybody? I'm like, no, I don't. Well, if you come across somebody, and we hire them and they're good, we'll take you out to lunch. And I go, oh, okay. I'll see I'll keep my ear to the ground for you. So now that we know the car creation system is stacked for you to fail. Yeah, they're set. Now that we know that, what are we going to do from here on forward? Well, we can sit and we can whine and cry and everything else about it, but it's been going on for years. That's why I'm laughing. It's finally come to the surface, and I'm really happy to see conversations coming out and spilling the beans. So when you hear this stuff, if you sit back and go, no, well, why would they do that? Well, they make a lot of money. And, they plan that, about 10% of all the vehicles that they make out of the millions of vehicles they put out there and pump out like chiclets, that 10% are probably going to be problematic right out of the gate. One thing after another. Let me know if you've had one of those vehicles right from the factory where it's been this thing, that thing, back to this thing. Oh, we're back to that thing again. Oh, that didn't fix it. Now they got to do something else. Oh, they don't know how to fix it. They're waiting for technology to change. But in the meantime, you don't have a vehicle, but you're making payments and interest payments and insurance to keep a vehicle that you have a loan on to keep your finances in good standing. They don't care. They don't. Because who gets to pay for the 10% of vehicles that are problematic? They factor that into the price of every vehicle so that they lose money? Of course they don't. They don't lose a stinking penny. They'll whine and cry like babies, but they've got it all factored in. And now that some engineers are speaking up, now that they've left the establishment, they're letting the public know. And you know what? I tip my hat to them, because it takes stones to do that, is to step up and say, you know what? I'm going to let people know this is the way it is. And the one engineer that I listened to the last couple of days, he said there were certain engineers in the room that were just not willing to make a inferior product, that they were not asked back to the boardroom for those meetings. In fact, if they could get rid of them at a decent price, he said they would have been gone. But what they decided to do, because they're really good engineers, is they're just not allowed into those meetings where the request of the engineers was to build inferior products, design inferior products to go on their automobiles so that you, the consumer, pick up the tab in two ways. First of all, you're going to get fed up, disgusted, and bored of having your vehicle in the shop at the dealership more than it's in your driveway. So this is all stacked against you. So where do we go from here? This is where we got to turn a negative into a positive. And this is where I go, oh, okay, you're going to continue to do that to me? No. We're going to change it. And this is what's happening. People are walking away. that have been loyal to the brands. And Toyota's in this one too. They've got some issues with vendors creating products for them that are just not working. They're not working. So Toyota has its own problems. They've got debris, metal particles, filings, and I've seen it. Actually, just yesterday I watched the car care nut, who is a Toyota enthusiast and a Toyota technician for many, many years, and he was walking you through his own Tacoma or Tundra that he bought, and he finds, steel shavings in the differential, in the gear oil, in the rear end. You can't, if he hadn't found that, that's going to chew up definitely and cause problems in the differential housing. So, will that happen while it's still in warranty? Who knows? Will it happen when it's out of warranty? It could, and if it does, then it's your dime. So these are things that we haven't been dealing with in the past, but they're happening now. So those things need to be tidied up. I mean, for the domestics, they just keep doing the insanity part. Keep putting out the same lousy product with the same pattern failures and continue to do it over and over again. Why would you not want to fix that so that your customers are happy with your product? I don't know. I don't have the answer. It all has to come down to something my electrical teacher said back in high school, that the path of least resistance is the pocketbook. And that, my friends, is so true. They're making money basically sabotaging the cars, the vehicles they're putting out. And I think that's sick. But you know what? It looks good on them that people are walking away from the brand. They're taking a look at other brands out there and going, like myself, I could be a great example. My neighbor has an '07 Toyota FJ Cruiser on the back door of 400,000 kilometers. Hello. Did I get a good one? Maybe so. I couldn't tell you because you'd have to have something to compare it to. But I've been buying Toyotas since I was 16 years old, and that's how old I am now. Did you get that? Yeah, and I've never had a bad one. In fact, I sent a comment to that car care nut. I've been watching him since he's been shooting videos in his garage at a Black & Decker work table in the freezing cold. Yeah, he was an encouragement to me. Yeah, if he can do it, I can do it. But, he's a little disappointed with Toyota as well in seeing some things, and the fit and the finish and the paint quality is sliding. So, as consumers, we need to speak up. And how do you speak up? You can keep your junk. I'm going to try something else. So I've probably had over 20 Toyotas in my life so far, and I can honestly tell you straight in your eyes, I never had a bad one. Not one. No engine damage, no transmission damage, no stupid things falling off. And I've owned probably almost every year of Toyota Celica, starting with 1972. And I made the first 5-speed set 1972 Toyota Celica on the face of the planet. I did. I got a transmission out of a Toyota Corona. And there's a name you don't hear anymore. I wish they'd bring back the Corona. That was a nice car. That was a really nice car. The SR5 two-door 22R engine, you couldn't kill those things. So, what's going on? Well, it's been determined. And I took this buzzword from all the research I've been doing for the last few weeks, and it comes down to the system is stacked. It's stacked against the consumer. So that's where I like to talk about you've got to become a prosumer, not a consumer. You got to stick your head up like a marmoset and look around and, be wise as a serpent, but gentle as a dove. We don't have to go bulldozing or like a bull in a china shop All we have to do as consumers is go, okay, I'm going to become a professional consumer. Move away from the product line. Watch what happens. We control this planet. The consumer controls the planet, and we've forgotten that. We've honestly forgotten it. There's a lot of product I've stepped away from. And do they care? I don't care if they don't care. But what I care is, you know what? I'm a professional consumer. I stay away from products that say they work that they don't. And if I'm intrigued, I may try it one time just to see, what if that works? What if it does and I miss out? So I'll give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, it's off my list. I'm not going to endorse anything that I don't use myself. Period. And I've walked away from some really big deals that I could have had over the years because of that. Honesty and integrity, once you lose it, it's very difficult to get back. And I wasn't willing to sell myself out for $1. Period. If I don't believe in your product, I'm not going to use it. So if you came to my driveway right now, you would not see a single domestic vehicle in the driveway. Why is that? You have to ask yourself, why is that? What does he know that I don't know? That the system is stacked. That's why there was a time when I drove General Motors products all the time. I got sick of it. It was I was the last one in the shop every night. What am I working on? My own General Motors product. The worst vehicle I ever had, and I still bang my head against the cinder block. I sold my 1982 Celica Supra, black on black. She was a beauty. I sold that to buy a 1982 Floridian Fleetwood Brougham limo style Cadillac. It was the car from hell. I'll tell you that. And I wasn't listening to an engineer and a tech that told me many years before, who was a listener to one of our broadcasts. He said, you know what? If you're going to drive those, you got to get rid of them every 3 years because they're the test pilot. And at that time, we still had Oldsmobile. And here's what he told me. Again, I'm not the message. I'm just the messenger. Don't buy the Cadillacs. You buy the Oldsmobiles. Because all the stuff that they test, they put on Cadillacs. And the stuff that's good goes into building the Oldsmobile. So he said, you want a better car? You buy the Oldsmobile. Stay away from the Cadillac. That's what he told me. But I didn't listen. But he was right. That thing kept me working on it night after night after night. It was the biggest pile of hoopty I ever owned. And I was glad to see it go through the auction lane in Stratford and say goodbye. And I lost my stinking shirt on it. When it went through the lanes, it went through the lanes 3 times. And even the fella on the block knew me, and he's waving it off. He's going, don't let it go. He's telling me by waving it, he's saying, don't take that money for it. And he really pushed it. He said, look at you guys. You can't even see the car. That's how many of you were looking at it. It's rust-free. They were looking underneath, and they knew the vehicle was mint. It was mint, and I fixed it. And here's how I fixed it. I turned it into an Oldsmobile. I barely made it back from Cleveland without getting hijacked by a car full of nice fellas that were chasing me down the turnpike. And the service light came on, and the thing wouldn't even go over 40 kilometers an hour. And it's belching black smoke. The service light's on, and my passengers are screaming, we're going to die. Yeah, sounds like a movie, right? It really happened. And then I said, I got to do something really stupid here, but be with me. May the 4th be with me. And so what are you going to do? I got to shut the car off, count to 30 seconds, and then restart and the light goes out and I can hammer it. And that's exactly what I did. I turned the car off. We were doing about 40 kilometers an hour, like we were just kind of almost coasting, and this thing's belching black smoke. I turned the ignition off, counted out 30 seconds, just went right to crank and start, and put my foot to the floor. The light went out, and all the cylinders came back on. And that night when I got home from Cleveland, I changed out of my business clothes, put my coveralls on, and I had the motor and transmission on the floor by morning. My guys come in and go, "Oh, you're here early." I said, "You give me a hand to push this thing out? I got to bring that Oldsmobile in here." My friend sent me a Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royale with a 350 Olds rocket engine and a 4 1/4 transmission in there, and I pulled all the computer system out of this thing and stuffed that motor and transmission in the next night. And by the weekend, you could lay a patch of rubber until there was no tires left. I fixed it, and then I sold it. I took it up to the Stratford Auto Auction, and it went through the lanes 3 times, and here's what I got for it. $1,800. The car was pristine. I just wanted to get rid of it. And I got a ride home, and that was it. Never again. That was the last time. All the way home, I just kept saying to myself, never again in my life will I touch that product line. No. And I haven't. I have some vintage stuff that we take to fundraisers and car shows, but you know what? You can hop in those, turn the key, and you can go all the way 1,600 miles to Florida if you want. Reliable. So what's happening? The system's stacked. So now what? Do we abandon ship? That's what they want us to do. That's exactly what they want you to do. This one engineer I listened to yesterday, he said what they want you to do is, A, they're making the prices on parts so exorbitant that it turns you off of fixing your own car. So you get fed up with it. You abandon ship. And what do? Here's what the engineer says. I can't figure this one out, but they'll go and buy the same thing. They'll just go and get another one of the same brand after going through all that. You know, that's like banging your head against a cinder block. 2 things are going to happen, my professor would say. I don't know how he knew this. He said, that's where, just go and bang your head against a cinder block. 2 things are going to happen. You're going to get a really big headache and your ears are going to pop out. And I'm thinking, well, why would they go and do that? Why would you go and, after all the headaches you've been through, the thing's been in the shop more than in your driveway, and it's just one thing after another, and then it just seems to start all over again. They want that vehicle. If they got to put more warranty into it, this is their idea for the consumer, that the fix under warranty lasts just long enough to get you outside the warranty perimeter. Because when it goes down again, it becomes your dime. This is what's been going on for a long time, but now it's coming to the surface, and they're losing sales. Now, whether or not it's enough sales for them to go, what? They figured it out. Yeah. Don't get me started on transmission valve bodies, because the engineers built them. We're told to build them to have a very cheap part inside the valve body on the automatic transmission that's like dollars, so that the transmission will fail. It's not actually the transmission itself. It's the valve body that controls the transmission inside. And they're all built the same to do the same thing. Tiny little check ball. That's it. And a seal. Tiny little check ball and a seal. Causes the transmission problem. But then they put another valve body in that's exactly the same as the one that came out. So it's going to what? Fail again. That's what they want. They want you to get fed up with it. that you go see the salesman and say, I'm just going to get rid of it. And you're going to stay loyal to the brand? Not me. So do we surrender to this? Or do you send a signal to the manufacturer? Because as I've already said, we are in control of the ship. We are the rudder when it comes to purchasing anything, including an automobile. We are the rudder. If we want to stand up and say, you know what, we're not going to take this crap, you got to walk away from the product. You got to walk away from buying new cars right now and send them a message. That will definitely get their attention, and it will send them a message. But if you just go, oh, what the heck, here's the usual phrase, what are you gonna do? Well, you know what I did? I got rid of my stupid Cadillac, took a bath on it, and I moved off, and I went back to Toyota 100%. That's what I did. And almost 400,000 kilometers later, here we are. Yeah. And it's still going. And you can watch the mini-series we just shot on that, too. You can see it. You get to see the 07 FJ Cruiser. That's the first model year of production year of the Toyota FJ. Yeah. You get to see it on our YouTube. So if you haven't signed up for our YouTube, I know that if you wouldn't mind helping us out, 93, we're down from 95. 93% of you are enjoying the videos on our YouTube channel, but you're not subscribed, so that doesn't help us. So, and same for all the other online influencers. If you're watching their videos, do the nice thing. Subscribe, like, comment, share, follow. That's what helps us all to be able to do what we do and share the knowledge and create the videos, because it all takes money to do it, and time, money and time. So thank you to all those who are subscribed, and thank you for all those who just heard this message and are going to do that. Because here's the thing, like, subscribe, share, ring the bell so that you're notified when new videos come out, and you won't miss the next rescue or project, maintenance tips, and real world car ownership advice. That's what happens for all of us that are online influencers. We don't move forward if it isn't for you. So thank you. Thank you, and I am truly grateful for everyone who is subscribed. Skippy and I work our tail off to put together great content for you, and we can do better, even better yet, if we have you backing us. So thank you. Everything we talk about is available to you on our website at carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. That's where you'll find all our recommended businesses and our program partners. Their logos are there. Just click, highlight, get to their profile page, and you can also click through to their company profile page. And thank you to all those who are giving them your business, because that's what makes the whole thing go around. So thank you so much for that. In the top right-hand corner of our homepage, you will see all the platforms we're involved with. We have almost 400 components for you to enjoy on our YouTube channel. The link is right there. Just click on the icon for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. There's reels and bloopers and outtakes there for you. Skippy spends time putting that stuff together. We're featured on Stevensvilleontheweb.ca as experts in the field, and we have articles up there, and I know Skippy posts some bloopers there as well that she creates. And we also have our icon for iHeartRadio, which is our main platform for our podcasts, but we are on Amazon, Apple, and Spotify, and Podbean, all the podcast platforms out there. Just type in the search box Car Connection Workshop and you'll find us. We will be there. All our podcasts automatically populate to our YouTube channel as well. So if you miss something, you can certainly go back and re-listen and listen and re-listen. So thank you for all those who have been shopping in our online store and getting some Car Connection Motormouth merchandise. All proceeds go to Total Freedom Addiction Campuses, Canada and USA, where they intake those who are ready to say goodbye to their addiction for good. There's a new life waiting for them there. That's what they do. It's not a program. It is a life change. So take a moment to check out Total Freedom addiction campuses. Just click on their logo on our homepage and find out more about them. And perhaps maybe you want to get involved in that. So how do I wrap this up today in a great big, large, sexy red bow? How do I do that? Well, I'm going to give it my best. No, we're not going to take that. No, we're not going to purchase your product anymore. It's obviously got problems, and it's not worthy of my time, the depreciation, the cost. So, and you know, you're setting us up for failure right from the get-go, and you know it. So, knowing all that should be enough to say, I'm moving on. I'm getting away from this, and I watched my own pops do it. My pops went from buying the Astros Safari van disasters. Those things ate money like Smarties or Skittles. Depends on where you're listening from. It was true. He put a ton of money. He went through 2 of them. He enjoyed it so much the first time, he did it a second time. I didn't say anything. It has nothing to do with me. That's if that's your choice, that's your gig, I'll just watch you do it. Because a man convinced against his will is not of his own opinion still. That's the way I live my life. I'm not here to change you. I'm not here to scold you. You'll do what you want. So I just let you do it. Just like my instructors when I was an apprentice. They would watch you screw it up and then stand over your shoulder and say, stop. I'll be back in 5 minutes. I want you to tell me what you screwed up there. Because there's something wrong, seriously wrong. But you're going to tell me what it is in 5 minutes. So then I watched my pops go over to Chrysler. He had a Dodge Grand Caravan. I think they call it Grand for a reason. I'm not sure yet. We're going to turn that into a t-shirt. The Grand Caravan. Yeah, there's something behind that. Just watch the series on our YouTube channel. You know, I even asked AI if that would make a good t-shirt. They actually gave me a thumbs up on that. That's a great one. Yeah, exactly. I thought it was. Grand Caravan. Yeah, so he went, I think we only had one, he went through one of those. He really liked it. It actually wasn't bad at all. And the engine was good. Didn't have any serious issues with it. Just went through brakes a lot, but I think it's driving habits, not the vehicle itself. And then he jumps into a Santa Fe. And then he had that for a couple of years. And now he drives a Lexus turbified SUV. He saw it for sale and traded off his Santa Fe and bought the Lexus. I said, why would you do that? He goes, I liked it. There you go. So now he's driving a Toyota product. He really, 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 really likes it. He really likes it. My neighbor across the street saw that I'm driving Toyotas all the time. And then one day I see a Toyota filled driveway across the street. And he comes running across one day as I'm pulling out, and he says, now I know. I go, what? He goes, now I know why you're driving Toyotas. I love these things. His words. Totally jumped from a product loyal customer right over to Toyota. And the driveway is filled with Toyotas. The daughter, the wife, and himself. That's all they have in the driveway now. No domestics, nothing outside, just Toyotas, and they're loving it. So I'm not pushing Toyota. I'm just saying if that's the game they're going to continue to play as consumers, we don't need to throw in the towel or surrender or abandon ship and go and buy the same thing, because that's when they win. That's when you, the consumer, become a consumer and you allow them to win. As long as they're making stuff and we're buying their stuff, they're happy, because the price of every vehicle covers all the boo-boos. You and everyone else get to share the price of the boo-boo cars. That's all factored in to every single vehicle that's leaving the lot. You're paying for the 10% of what they create that they know are going to be problematic vehicles. It's all factored in to the next vehicle with the sticker price on it. So are they losing a dime? Nope. Do they care? Nope. They're not losing any money. This is where the consumer has to say enough is enough and stop buying that product, whatever it is. Move on to something else. That's what speaks louder than words, because you then affect their bottom line. And that's when you'll get their attention. That's when all of us will get their attention. Period. There's nothing out there I can say right now on any of the domestic product lines that I have to have. Nope, not one. Because why? I got peace of mind with what I have. I'm satisfied with the older vehicles. They're proving themselves to be good. Once in a while, we got to throw some parts on there just to upgrade and keep the things going. But it's far cheaper than paying interest and payments. Because when you surrender to the manufacturer that continues to put out the same problem product, here's what happens. You sign up for the Never Never plan. And this is what they want you to do. And this is what I heard this week. That's why I'm sharing this. I heard it yesterday and I go, we got to talk about this. They want you to abandon ship and just get out of it and get into another one of their products and drive it for 3 years. They would much rather the vehicle is a problem and gets you fed up at 30,000 kilometers. That's what they want, is that you're out of the vehicle at 30,000 kilometers and buying another one. And that one's going down the road wherever. They get rid of it. That's what they want. And when I heard that, it reminded me of the time when I walked into one of the most popular banks, and the bank manager looks at me and says, Niall, I hate small business. And I've been in business for myself for decades. And I just said, oh, Frank, yeah, that's, hey, thanks for sharing. That's what I said to him. Thanks for sharing. Then he said, well, look at these people here. This is him speaking. Look at these people lining up here. They're our best customers. I go, oh, you should take them out for lunch. He goes, every single one of them is indebted to the bank and they're paying us hordes of interest. They're our best customer. And I went, oh, hey, Frank, thanks for sharing. It's been a great day. I hope you have a great week. I walked over to the Meridian Credit Union in the same plaza, and I said, I would like to move all my banking back to the credit union where I started as a kid. And that's what I did. I got the heck out of Dodge. Boom. And for quite a while there, I'd run into some of the people at that branch, and they go, Niall, we haven't seen you for a long time. Where are you now? Are you still banking with us at a different branch? I go, no, I'm done. I went back to a credit union where I started when I was 16 years old. Oh, sorry to hear that. I go, no, I'm very happy about it because I don't have the stresses anymore of doing banking with you folks. Yeah, it wasn't pleasant. Oh, it wasn't? I go, no, not for small business. Wasn't pleasant. So that's where we as consumers, when you rise up and you say, I'm not buying that product anymore, and then move on, that's when they'll pay attention. That's when change will come. And in the auto industry, it is a dog-eat-dog world, I can tell you that. Over 44 years of this, and I've been watching this develop since 1992, and here we are in 2026, and they can't provide you with a decent vehicle like my '07 FJ Cruiser. with almost 400,000 K just on basic maintenance. That's it. Nothing hairy scary, just basic maintenance. Wear and tear items, things that are going to wear out, and you got to replace them because of time and mileage. The pieces don't last forever, but I'll tell you what else. They last a long time before you got to change them. Period. That's money in your pocket. That's moving from a consumer to a prosumer, and that's making a statement. Because, you know what? How much of that do you want to take before enough is enough? That's what everyone has to answer. How long do you want to be loyal to them when you know that this is the game, and this is the game that they've been playing all along, and they're getting cocky now with it? And so now people are saying, hey, oh, you think it's funny? Oh, you think we're dumber than a willow branch? Oh, yeah? Well, watch this. Pitch them the keys and go, see you later. Bam. That's what I did, was I stepped away from the product line and said enough is enough. I lost my shirt on that Cadillac, letting it go through the lanes for $1,800. Even the guys I knew that banged the hammers just said to me afterwards, you know what, we tried our best, but man, oh man, people, they were not willing to pony up. That car was worth, to me, probably $5,000-$6,000 as it stood. It didn't need a dime of money spent on it for any repairs, period. And the car got damaged in hail, a big hailstorm that came through, and I had it outside my shop at home. And that was real sheet metal then, 22 gauge, and it dented the car, and it shredded the limo roof, and the insurance paid to fix it. And it looked amazing. The car looked amazing. The original paint was faded blue. It was like a baby blue. The car was really, really nice looking. It was a nice looking car. And it rode like a Chesterfield, but it was just lousy. It was lousy. And then I turned it into an Oldsmobile, and I get $1,800 for it and take a bus home from the Stratford Auto Auction. So anyhow, that's where we'll leave this, is you're either going to abandon ship, move into the same product line and start the same thing all over again and let them do it to you, or you're going to surrender to that and continue to sign up for the never never plan, paying for the product over and over and over and over again. And it's not going to change until the consumer says change it, by moving away from the product line. And with regards to Toyota, they're learning their lesson right now. And you know what? I think they're gonna fix their end of things, because they've worked hard to get market share, and these stupid things that have been going on need to go away. And I think they'll come to that realization long before the domestics do, and change it up and fix it and apologize to the consumer, and continue with what they've done for many years, and that is to put out a quality vehicle at a fair price and stand behind it. So till tomorrow morning will be Thursday. We're getting closer to the weekend and Fun Friday. Hope you have a fabulous Wednesday. It's hump day. Let's get through that. We're heading on to the weekend. Just a reminder that Saturdays are Q&A, questions and answers. Have your questions into me by noon on Friday to get into the selection, because I only have time in an hour to break down about 3 questions. The times are, sometimes I can squeak in a 4th one, but most of the time the questions that I pick out of the pile of emails that come in are more than enough to cover an hour. So by Friday noon, that is cut off. To get your questions in, send them to motormouth.jenkins@gmail.com or Niall@ccbusnet.com. And all that information and everything that we talk about is on our YouTube videos in the description box. And I always put a lot of nuggets there, as well as our podcasts, which are not a mirror image of what the YouTube videos are about. So if you listen to the podcast, you're not going to see the same thing on the videos. and vice versa. So that's two separate areas for you to connect with us, and we give you more ways to connect and join us. So till tomorrow morning, make it a great day. Keep dry if you can. Happy, healthy motoring. Peace, patience, and kindness always. And we'll see you in the next one, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning for another edition of Motor Mouth's Morning Drive. Bye for now.